Hello everyone, a while back I made a video looking at the best possible capital in EU5. I was mainly looking at one from a province itself scaling ability, which is a very convoluted way to say that I'm judging it more as a what's the best province in the game sense instead of the best capital in the game sense, while also giving bonus points to the province if it had things that made it a good capital, say good harbour access. Doesn't that all make sense? If it doesn't, rewind to the start of the video and rewatch it a couple times, I'm sure you'll eventually get it. That being said, even by my old criteria, namely I'm looking for a province with a huge population capacity so I can shove all my population into it, get loads of modifier stacking bonuses as more pops means more building slots so I can go ahead and get 85 tailors guilds and make all the money, build all the armories and win. Hopefully all of this also happens on a province that is ideally in the old world so I don't lose 98% of my population every time a Spanish guy offers me a blanket, and I would like to also have good base RGOs for, well, building the economy up and getting even more modifier stacking. That criteria being established, well, my old best capital of choice, Constantinople, is still actually wrong. Well, kinda. I would say Constantinople is still the best city, but there is a better capital, one I missed, because I didn't look beyond the Med climate. I forced myself to consider coastal province only, and all of this meant that, well, I did miss this one in question. That is on me. So what is this best capital, arguably even best province? Well, before we get into the answer, just a quick bit stop to say that a like would be appreciated and a subscription would be amazing, but okay, I held you on for far too long, is the city of Varanasi in India. So why Varanasi? Well, let's go through it. Now, the first thing that is worth mentioning is, of course, you're not a coastal province. This means that if we compare ourselves to a coastal province, we do technically miss out on some extra modifiers. Coastal provinces get 5% more food production, some more supply limit, 10% local monthly development growth. There's also a bunch of coastal-only buildings that you can build that we don't have access to, as well as 25% more local population capacity. That's just all things that we do not have access to, which is a shame. We are a flatland farmland, that is the best setup indeed. However, we are not Mediterranean climate, we are subtropical. This is slightly worse than Mediterranean climate. We lose out on around 50% local population capacity as well, which means compared to Constantinople, we're now 75% local population capacity behind. However, we are on a river. You can see on this map here, we are most certainly on a river, and we're going to talk about the river network in a moment. But the main thing that really makes Varanasi stand out as a capital and really go above and beyond is the fact that it does have two holy sites attached to it. Now, Constantinople also has some holy sites, but the holy sites in Varanasi are amazing. You get two. You get the Varanasi holy city itself. This does require you to be a Hinduism enjoyer, fair enough, but it comes with 250 possible clerics and 250% local population capacity. Which is just stupidly insane, alright, and 10% institution growth, just a little sprinkle on top as an extra modifier. Great. You also pick up the Vishalkshi? Jesus Christ, I know it's an Indo-European language, but how is it this difficult to pronounce these? I mean, surely it's an Indo-European language. It should be pretty similar to the European languages, right? Anyway, this temple over here, even more possible clerics, so once you start cleric maxing over here, you're going to have all of the clerics, and remember, if you are Hindu, you can tax the church. But more importantly, you pick up plus 5% max control, which is crucial on capitals. That is to say pointless, but you get the 0.5 local monthly prosperity. Now this used to not matter that much, but now that they've changed prosperity to actually tick away a lot more aggressively, hence also buffing free subjects for the passive extra prosperity tick, this 0.5 local monthly prosperity means that in practice you're actually able to, for the most part, just have 100 prosperity here forever. And that's incredible because you're utilizing the bonus of 100% prosperity so much more consistently. That being said, how bad is this population capacity in terms of your total max population in the province? And the answer is it's ridiculous. Because day one, without any tax or any bonuses or without any irrigation built, you have 1.35 million. Bear in mind, this is pre-irrigation buildings. Just to be clear here, look, you absolutely can build irrigation. Super buildable, right? Look at that. Look at all these irrigation levels. Actually, 14 irrigation levels. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of irrigation levels. And for those unaware, why is irrigation so amazing? Well, it's flat 1,000 population capacity that you obviously affect by all the production modifiers, as well as having local food production on top. Lovely. So yeah, this can really be the heartland of an empire. How good is it compared to Constantinople? Well, if we zoom out and take a look at the city of Constantinople, its population capacity is a rather pathetic 841,000 instead. So yeah, even better. Now okay, you're also missing out on the sound toll, but at least both places are market capitals. Now of course, market capitals are movable, so that's fair, but either way, both are market capitals. Now though, there is one thing that we must bring up as one of the flaws. The actual state it's in. for RGOs, right? What do you have here? Well, your capital itself is wheat, which is pretty neat. You probably want to build this up so you can actually feed your local population, although I don't tend to struggle with food in India basically ever. India is just pretty good, let's be honest. However, the other RGOs, well, given the wealth of India, are a touch disappointing. You get some rice over here for even more food, because Lord knows you need that. You get stone over here, which is great. Stone is an incredible RGO for building up your economy and getting masons and everything going. But then you get elephants, which are actually a great RGO, just not really for throughput. The only thing you can really build with elephants are these elephant hunting grounds, which are currently not employing anyone because, well, ivory, unfortunately with ivory, there are actually better ways of getting ivory. There are ivory RGOs, so just build those. Still though, elephants aren't an awful trade good, and if you're building an elephant army, go for it, right? And you get another elephant, so you get double elephants, not the best with throughput. And then you get sand. And sand is interesting because there actually isn't that much sand in India. There's a bunch over here near this desert, so that's fine. But it's actually a pretty good RGO for yet again scaling your economy. And this is one of those things that you're going to find rather interesting about a Varanasi capital, is that it's a great capital for basically crashing the prices of raw construction material. If you want to crash the price of the construction goods for roads and buildings, then this is the one to go. Okay, you're missing out on lumber, that's fair, but otherwise pretty good for that. It's not good for much else, to be honest. I mean, sand is good for throughput on glass, but glass I don't think is a good trade good at the current moment. Not because it's inherently bad, but because the AI overbuilds glass, which means it's not that profitable in the grand scheme of things. But compared to the silk of Constantinople, yeah, it's not the best for that. So let's just be upfront about that, right? It is behind on the trade goods. Still though, I do believe this is a significantly better capital than Constantinople for pushing control. Why? Well, for that I did have to install a mod because I want to go ahead and use the river map mode. This is a map mode that technically exists, but Paradox keeps insisting it doesn't. So if we take a look at the river map mode, my god, is India and China and Southeast Asia just covered in these goddamn things. They are everywhere, right? And the thing with rivers is they're incredible for pushing control, right? The Sultanate of Delhi's capital is in Delhi. If we take a look at its control down this river here, I mean, hell, even down to Varanasi, we have a pretty healthy proximity cost because we are mainly going through, well, a lot of rivers, downstream through a river, downstream through a river. You've guessed it, downstream through a river, minus 30. In essence, you get early game, not railroads, but early game modern roads, for free, just goddamn everywhere, and it's incredible. Now, of course, eventually you still want to build a lot of roads, but this river network is absolutely ludicrous, and this is basically the best city that's, for the most part, shoved into the middle of it for actually pushing all of this beautiful, beautiful control from it. And that makes it absolutely incredible. And hence I do believe that with all of these factors combined, well, Varanasi is the best capital. India wins again, and all the India enjoyers out there can rejoice. Damn, really you do want to do an India campaign. And with that being mentioned, well, rumors have reached me that in the next 1.1 update to EU5, the money cap is going to be changed from 1 million to 1 billion. And 1 billion is a ridiculous amount of money. And you may be wondering what's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion, and it's roughly a billion. And getting to 1 million, well, I won't say it was effort, but I managed to get to 1 million money as Scotland, right? So absolutely doable. 1 billion though, well, once 1.1 is out, I would like to start a campaign, playing as Vijayanagar, one of my more favorite countries, and as them, go ahead and unite India, aka Bharat, and actually try and build up my country to get 1 billion money, and hence fill the new money cap. I think it'll be an interesting campaign, and I can't think of a better capital for that campaign than the city of Varanasi. So that is something I'm personally waiting for version 1.1 to begin and get going on. I do think it'll be an interesting campaign, and hey, if you have any suggestions or things to spice it up, or any interesting things I could do, or any pit stops or even limitations that you'd like to suggest, make sure to let me know down below. That being said though, now that we are talking about YouTube comments, well, this is a good time to segue that, of course, I did not actually discover this province. I say, of course, like it was some well-known thing. No, I'd like to have a massive thank you to Bastanja8856, apologies if I got your name wrong, for this comment here, which indeed highlighted the city of Varanasi. Now, if you had watched my previous video, you may have not seen this comment, or you have not seen the previous video and you're getting very confused as to where I previously discussed the best capital and why I'm wrong here, but I guess that's the context. Nevertheless, thank you very much for this comment. I mean, you're absolutely correct. That's the reason for this video here, dare I say. But I would like to also bring up, I guess, a bit of a weird complaint about YouTube. as we all know, YouTube comments tend to get that people like to do some link dumping things in there. People like to run scams in YouTube comments. A lot of things happen in YouTube comments. And hence YouTube does, I know we like to think that YouTube does nothing for their platform, but they do actually try and make it a better place, and hence add tools and auto detections for moderating and restricting content posted to those comment sections. That being said, there is a hidden section, that is to say, comments that got auto-filtered by the algorithm, but did not get deleted, so that if you, the creator, come back to that hidden section, you can go ahead, and if it's a normal comment, you can go ahead and approve it. And the reason I'm saying all of this is that this comment was flagged for something. I don't know for what. Why did this comment get flagged? But either way, I had to go back and manually approve this comment, and I still think it's almost shadow banned because it's sitting on literally 0 likes. I guess that's just some comments do disappear off the face of the earth, dare I say. But yeah, it was a bit weird to say that. Nevertheless, I genuinely, I guess, a question to the floor, right? Why did this get shadow banned? Cute holy sites, a huge river complex, like. Well, how does this get flagged? I genuinely don't know how this comment gets flagged. Like, can someone help me out here? Because I'm a bit out of the loop here. Any computer scientists out there, can you please inform me how this comment of all things got flagged? Because a lot of other things get through, pretty easily, dare I say. There's been some unhinged things said in my comment sections in terms of the, should we say, out of context things being said for EU5. And all those things tend to be fine. Like, very rarely things get flagged at all. How does this get flagged? Like, what got caught here in the filter? All right. Bit of a weird complaining session near the end there, but I hope you enjoyed it nevertheless. Well, with that all being said, that is all the time I have for you today. Thank you very much for watching, with a special thank you to all my channel members, especially Ark, Solus, Lemon, Lord Zendika, Nikas, Nanhatan, Star72, The Awesome Rabbit, Best for Gaming, Grabmil, Flavia, Lebarule, WH Solve, Anthony35, AC Napo, Conspiracy Pizza, Yukata, Danray, Marby, Jack, Ryland, Stuart Allen, Andrew Black, Nebula, Zentronic, Twoinit, and Aquabird.